Yeah. Okay, we're back. Well, we came back to Florida and had a wonderful time back in Florida, enjoying ourselves, and I'll tell you, it was really, really terrific. Um, Thawing out and sunny Florida and all that was great.
Going to the
And
beach.
going to the beach, and we called
Mm.
back and talked to the people and told them when we were coming back and tried to line some things up to head back. But this is so simple. What you do is you give. You give. We bought a lot of dinners. And we talked to people that were very excited about what we were doing. And so we drove back to Pittsburgh, and I guess my dear sweetheart over here was just, she's a Florida girl. She was born in Florida, and she started missing Florida something fierce.
Oh,
And it was warm here in Florida, and it was, as the further north we got, the colder it got, and the gloomier it got, and the grayer it got. I think it was starting to already, it hadn't snowed yet, but it was starting to rain. It was just kind of that, before it starts to snow, that gloomy, cold, rainy weather. So, but Pittsburgh has an absolutely awesome skyline. As a matter of fact, it has one of the best skyline. I think it's number two skyline, rated the number two skyline in the country. So we're coming across the certain part where you come in through the turnpike from Philadelphia, the Pittsburgh, I forget the name of that turnpike. Anyway, as we're coming in, the mood in the car changed.
mm,
I looked over at my sweetheart, and she had tears in her eyes. And you
mm-hmm.
have to tell them why.
Oh, why? Well, it just, I left my home and I knew I was coming back to stay in a hotel room that was the size, of a large closet. And I just, had to really grab my mind and say, okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna work out. You can make it. You can do this. Just hang in there, and it'll all be okay. And even if it does not, the sun does not shine again in Pittsburgh for another, 60 or 70 days, and it didn't, and it doesn't. You can do this. You can do this. So I just had to build myself up and tell myself that it was worth it. We had people. We had started working with people, and it was important to continue to work with those people. So.
Well, so that's the heart-rending, and I'll tell you, it ripped my heart out. I'm looking over, and I'm like, and I'm so excited to see that skyline when we're coming in, and we came in at night, and I'm looking at the skyline. By the way, we went through Harrisburg again and met with the Pennsylvania Securities Commission and talked to the folks there again. I think there was a new guy there. Well, no, we saw the same two guys and talked to them briefly and told them what we were doing. And I tried to get them to give me more of an approval of what I was doing, and they were kind of coy that time. But we saw them again and made it clear. Here's our phone numbers. We think we're going to do this for more people because they're starting to see what we're doing. They're excited about it. If you have any questions or any issues, just call us. And they never did. But, so we got to Pittsburgh, and in the next 7 days, we got 33 more investors, accredited investors, to sign on in 7 days. I mean, people just fell right into place. It was absolutely wonderful. And so we were ready to go back to Florida. The total that we raised was $106,000 and change, some amount of change, $106,000. A lot of it, of course, was in some was in cash, some was in a lot of it was in trade dollars, which we call Troptions. Some was direct trade, like the hotel. One of the hotels where we stayed just did it directly with us. One of the restaurants traded directly with us, and another trade exchange got in on the act and said, well, hey, you guys are in, we want in too. So this other trade exchange, which later merged with the Barterall and became the Pittsburgh Trade Alliance, and they were nice people. We didn't see eye to eye on some things down the road, but I always really appreciated the gentleman named Scott. For some reason, Scott Drudy. Drudy was his name. Scott Drudy, and his wonderful dad who passed away, who was an an ex-police officer, a great guy,
Yes.
and Scott's kids, and we just had a great time with them. I still have a lot of respect and appreciation for Scott. So Scott, wherever you are, you're the best, man. I appreciate all you did. And that was the kickoff. And from there, people came to us, Evelyn, and said, well, can you do the same for me? And people started giving us their ideas. Well, I really have an idea of, I want to raise capital by doing it to, one gentleman had a thing that was like Angie's List that he wanted to put together, kind of a combo between Craigslist and Angie's List. And another gentleman had a hybrid limo cab company that he wanted to do, and someone else had an eBay thing that he had put together where you could bring your stuff there, and he was an eBay power seller, and he was growing like crazy. And another gentleman had a music rave idea similar to what P. Diddy or Sean Puffy Combs had put together.
That's
and,
right.
and of course Scott Drudy with the trade exchange. He wanted to raise capital and go public.
The
And
dental.
and a wonderful man named
Wonderful.
Dr. Ted Steliotis,
Oh,
who
he was
had
just-
10 great ideas of what he wanted to do with dental spas and real estate, and his ideas were right on the money.
So advanced
Oh,
in his thinking about going public, and it just broke my heart when the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Securities Commission just stopped that whole thing, which is another story.
that's another
But
story.
my goodness, this guy had just so many wonderful
Oh,
ideas.
great ideas.
And
That would have helped Pennsylvania. I mean,
yes.
job formation, capital formation for small companies.
Yes.
The Pennsylvania Securities Commission absolutely dropped the ball. And another special bonus, maybe not for this group, but for
No.
another, we'll talk about
Someday.
what Pennsylvania doesn't want you to know about capital formation and the trouble we went through in Pennsylvania and how hard they made it and how they basically went against their own laws and their own better judgment, and the brilliant ideas of some of the forefathers in the securities industry in Pennsylvania, how they must be turning over in their graves as to what's happened now.
And then there was one person that we did meet
Yes.
that just stood against all odds.
Jim Voller, James Cameron Voller. As far as a small public company, he's our hero. We helped him raise, oh my gosh, a significant amount of money, $6.5 million overall. He, as private companies, he just was so dynamic and so enthusiastic and had such guts and such wonderful support from his family and friends. But that's another story.
Another story.
That's right. So, but that's how we did it. How we raised the money. We took people out to lunch, took them out to dinner, showed them our plan, told them the story, and it took a little time for it to sink in, but we got in there knowing no one in Pennsylvania. We didn't know a soul in the state, at least not that we knew of. We certainly knew no one in Pittsburgh, but we got in there, became friends with people, took people to lunch and dinner, and ended up putting together a company that is public to this day, and that raised money, and that's a significant part of the bigger plan with Troptions, Global Troption Partners now, which is a public company, by the way. And so that's...
It's under the Dream Factory.
Pardon me?
It's under the Dream Factory.
No, it's its own independent public company, Global Troption Partners. So you know who you are. Thank you, those of you that helped put that together. It's tremendous. Thank you very much. That's how we did it.
Bye-bye.